Hello, my name is TerryDavidMulligan, and this is a version of Tasting Room Radio, but it needs an introduction. This is Tasting Room Radio, and it's also the Terry David Mulligan YouTube channel. My guest is a great friend of mine. His name is Liam Mayclem. He and I have known each other a long time. We met doing interviews, junkets, film junkets, in Los Angeles and San Francisco and halfway around the world. Became great friends. He also lives in one of my favorite cities anywhere, San Francisco. He's got a great connection with CBS television, CBS radio. The area knows him a lot. He does a show called Foodie, Chap, which is a kind of a takeoff on Tasting Room Radio. He's actually said that on my show a couple of times. He's maybe the best auctioneer in all of San Francisco for raising funds for charity. He knows all the chefs. He hosts Bottle Rock in Napa, and goes cooking with Flavor Flav and Snoop Dogg, and then introduces them on the stage. He's quite a guy, good friend. And so I'm on his podcast. He wants to know about BC wine, what's going on up here. He just wants to get caught up. And so I guessed it, and I liked it so much, I'm just going to share it with you. This is for Tasting Room Radio. It's for the video channel especially. Enjoy. Liam Mayclem, my friends, the Foodie Chap.
From KCBS Foodie Chap here. It's Wine Wednesday. Talking wine today, of course. What are you drinking for the holidays? Friends, I'm going to share in just a couple of minutes what's going to be on my holiday table for Christmas. The holidays just around the corner. But on a regular basis, or as often as I possibly can, I love to check in with one of my besties, one of my favorites. He is the host of Tasting Room Radio, and he's coming to us live, friends. I want to make sure I get this right, because with Terry, if you don't do things right, you'll get this in the ear. So, friends, we are going all the way to Kawagan Wine Valley on Vancouver Island, a lovely little bay called Mill Bay. I don't know if there's any milling going on, but I do know that there is some drinking. So let's go Vancouver Island, and Terry is going to talk to us about the state of wine in Vancouver, the state of wine in his neck of the woods. And here he is, my dear friend Terry.
Yes, you'll find me here in the Cowichan Valley.
Cowichan Valley. What's behind the name, Terry?
It's the indigenous nation. This is their land.
Yep.
Actually, they called it warm land.
Oh.
And if you live in Canada and you don't get the cold that the rest of Canada does, you can call your nation warm land. And so you see warm land signs all over the place here. The Cowichan is on Vancouver Island, which is this long stretch it's a big island.
Yeah.
And it's a gorgeous place. Tofino is on one end where everybody goes surfing. I'm on the east side. I'm looking back at Vancouver.
Hey, let's talk about the state of wine in Canada, your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
Tasting Room Radio. How many years have you been doing the show now?
17 years, sir. It was just after we got finished shooting Hollywood and Vines with Jason Priestley. And Megan and I both agreed that we really liked the people who were making wine, the farmers.
Yeah.
We got our farm. We have the Okanagan Valley right up the middle of the south of BC. Let's go check it out. And we were there for like 2 days, and we said, okay, let's find a house.
Yeah.
And we found a beautiful house that had been pulled to the side of a farm, and there was a barn in it. And I looked at it and I went, Meg, that's my studio.
That's it.
And so now I find myself in the Cowichan again in a barn. I'm down in the stalls, but it's pretty comfortable down here. It's really cool. Nice to see you.
No, that was the biggest gift you ever gave to Meg when you said, "Oh, a barn, that could be my studio." Meg goes, "Yes,
exactly.
And
Take all your crap and go downstairs." Yes, that's right.
And you can spend a lot of time in the barn. So,
right.
Terry,
but you asked an important question, and that was: here's the problem with two hosts talking to each other, because we all try. There's always too many questions and never enough answers. We've had two severe, bitterly cold winter events happen in the Okanagan Valley. If you go below 25 below Celsius, you're in trouble. We went to 27 below for 50 hours. And so many vineyards were lost
Yeah.
Whole crops were lost.
Man.
And so we've come to the decision, along with the government of BC, that in
Yep.
order to keep those farms alive and
Yep.
the wineries alive, they will be allowed to go to Washington, Oregon, and California
Yeah.
and Ontario to buy wine, buy grapefruit from other places,
Sure.
bring it back, crush it. As long as the label says this is created in BC, then
Yep.
people will understand that it's not from BC, but it's helping to pay the bills. And so
Yep.
we'll do that for a year while the vineyards recover. What they're discovering is that even though they were damaged and some of them lost, most of those vineyards found a way to survive through the roots.
Right. And so when we talk about the wine that's grown there in BC, what are the varietals that do best, the ones that thrive? And when we talk about the losses,
Wow.
what will people not see on their table from British Columbia in the next year because of this?
We make an incredible Syrah. Incredible.
Yeah.
We're not going to see a lot of Syrah. We make fabulous Merlot. We're not going to see a lot of Merlot. Riesling did well. Sauv Blanc did well. Semillon did well. But it all depends where you were growing and how long you were frozen. So there's all of that. But so literally it's going to change the wine industry in British Columbia.
Yeah.
Because we'll start to plant other things that will survive, and we won't plant there. We'll plant here.
Yeah.
Everybody's trying as hard as they can, and there's a silver lining in all of this. We're going to reinvent ourselves.
Yeah.
And the cool thing is, this area that I'm in did not get this freezing. And so some of the grapes that have grown around me are being bottled in the Okanagan right now.
Yeah. And Terry, you mentioned a key word, reinvention. Yeah. If there's one industry above all others, I mean, the food industry, hospitality, wine, the art of reinventing, of having to have a rebirth, because you're dependent on nature. And so what nature brings ends up steering the course for you. You have to be creative, you know, with what nature delivers. Am I talking gibberish, or am I making sense?
You can't ask me things like that.
No, but you know what I'm saying, right? It's
yes, I do. Yeah, I do. The reinvention is actually, here's the thing. I believe in the farmers.
Yeah.
That's what drew me to the Okanagan when we first came back, and basically, it's so important that you believe in them. They're the ones going through the hardships.
Sure.
I'm going to interview Luke from Howling Bluff this afternoon at 2 o'clock, and he emphatically said on his website, "I'm not buying grapes from California or Washington or Oregon. I'm not going to put an asterisk beside my name. I'm going to suck it up. I'm just going to make what I can make, sell what I can sell, and I'll see you next year."
Sure. So Terry, for you, the holidays, you know, we just had Thanksgiving here in America. The Canadians have your own Thanksgiving, which is a month before. Is that correct?
That's exactly right, sir.
Yeah.
It's all of those things and more. No, I don't know why we do that. But who knows? This was 150 years ago, and you and I were just barely there.
Yeah, we were just teenagers back then.
So, and your Thanksgiving is the same as ours.
Yeah. By the way, in America, they also have football, and there's only one guy that kicks the ball, pretty much. I'm not sure why it's called football here. Where I come from, England, Ireland, we have football where everybody gets to put their feet on the ball. Hence, football.
Meg asked me a question yesterday. She said, what do you figure is the most prominent accent in America? You want to guess?
The most prominent accent in America, I would say...
I thought it was Italian. She said, no, it's Irish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because there are more Irish in America than there are in Ireland. Hey, let's talk about what's on your table. Q&A. For those who don't know, my good friend TerryDavidMulligan here, partnered with two of his besties. Go on, do a little name dropping. What's the story behind my
Q&A?
Canadian Q&A.
Is yours full? Yours is full.
It is full.
That's wonderful.
It's not been opened. Yeah.
Wonderful.
David Bowie wants to drink some. There you go, David. There you
go. Jason Priestley and I did Hollywood and Vines, and we shot. It took 3 years to get. No, it took 7 years to get 3 years.
Yep.
And watching in Slovakia was Michael Mosley and his wife, and they were making Bubble, and they loved what they saw of the Okanagan, that we shot of the Okanagan, so much that they moved there.
Yeah.
and started their own winery called Winemaker's Cut.
Sure.
And then I saw him at a wine show, and he said, "You don't know why I'm here. Let me tell you why I'm here. I'm here because I saw you and Jason. I fell in love with the Okanagan. We did, and we moved here and changed our lives. And so I'd like to celebrate that with. I'd like to make a wine." And I said, "What do you suggest?" He said, "How about a Bordeaux blend?"
Beautiful.
I happen to have it in barrels. And then he said at the end of one of our meetings, "Oh, by the way, I made you a white." And what kind of a white? He said Northern Rhone, RMV, Roussan Marsan Viognier. And so we're doing well. And it is available, by the way.
Yeah,
thank you for this
my
opportunity.
next question. You see, I love you, Terry. I don't even have to ask questions. You just deliver.
It just
Where can people in California find your delicious Q&A Canadian wine?
Just remember that we call this area, this stretch of Oregon, Washington, Alaska, and British Columbia, Cascadia.
Cascadia.
So it's Cascadia with a K. Cascadia with a K. Cascadia Wine Merchants. Vijay Gandhi is this young woman's name who started this, who believes in selling Canadian wines to Americans. CascadiaWineMerchants.com. I believe she's in the Bay Area with you. And I'd like the two of you to get connected somehow, some way.
Thank you.
Anyway, so what do you do? What else are you drinking?
Okay, what am I drinking? Well, absolutely. First of all, before I tell you what's going to be on my holiday table, I want to raise a glass to you. Yep. It's a 25-year something. It's not wine. I know it's Wine Wednesday, and I'm drinking a Macallan 25 whiskey. So cheers to you, TerryDavidMulligan.
Cheers, mate.
Don't mind me.
Shit. No, it's beautiful. Have you cut back on the wine?
I'm cutting back on all boozy things.
Well, because your lifestyle is such that there would always be wine.
Always. So here's what I've learned. I can sip and move on. I don't have to, However, at the weekend, I can have, I hate to call it a cheat day because it's not cheating. It's actually enjoying life. But I do have a couple of drinking nights, so usually a Friday night or a Saturday night. However, as you know, in my role as auctioneer, I work a lot of Friday, Saturdays, so no drinking on the job. But I may come home and have a glass of wine just to wind down, But on the table, you asked a question. Williams Salem Pinot. I just love this beauty. Saving this one. I'm going to sneak it into England so I can enjoy this on Christmas Day.
Well done.
Are you familiar with Williams Salem?
I am. The only by name. I've never tasted it.
Yeah. It's a party on the palate. You're going to love it. And then another producer of a wonderful Pinot, my good friend John Anthony Trouchard. He's not a forecaster, but his wine is called Weather. And again, Sonoma Coast Pinot, Russian River Valley. They're all my favorites. I love this. This is a delicious bottle and a good price too. I love the versatility.
Here's the tricky thing, William, as you know. You and I are in a business where we run across people who would love to open up a wine and have a sip. But you are surrounded.
I know.
You are literally surrounded by vineyards.
I know.
And except if you go to Oakland, I think you're okay.
Yeah. There are, but actually,
yes.
No, there are a couple of vineyards in Oakland. It's possible. The bounty around us. We're very lucky, Terry. We're so.
Just wanted to tell you, Liam, Jason and I did some winemakers dinners.
How did they go?
Fantastic, especially in Whistler.
Yeah.
And I decided to hold on to some certain bottles when we shot Hollywood and Vines. That was 12, 15 years ago, whatever.
Cool, yeah.
I took this to Whistler and we opened it. We opened it.
Look at that.
It's a Warrenowski Stag's Leap Wine Cellars SLV 2005. We didn't know how it would cellar. We opened it up along with Michael Mosney, and we consumed it in our room before we ever went down for dinner. It was fantastic.
And you know that great man we lost, I think this past year, the year before. I have a 15-second story. I was doing a fundraiser, and the top level of giving was $10,000, and this man is shouting across, the room to me, 100. And I'm thinking, I'll get to $100 in just a minute, my friend. So I go 10,000 now, 500, and this guy is still shouting 100. He's still, I'm ignoring him because we're not at the $100 yet. he walks across the floor. He's looking pretty annoyed. And he said, "Can I have the mic?" And I went, "Sure." He goes, and it's Mr. Aronofsky. And he said, $100,000. Who's going to match me? Just like that. So I made a point of knowing exactly who he was from that point on. I had some of his wine in my cellar. You enjoyed that with Jason. You lucky sausage, you. Yeah. I mean, a legend, one of the great ones. We're losing a lot of the great ones. I mean, clearly wine's good for you because these guys live well into their 90s, Terry. So keep drinking the wine. There's hope for us. There really is. Hey, listen, Christmas, holidays, how will you be spending it?
I was looking at the bottles behind me, deciding which ones would be of interest. Christmas is just going to be a family in shifts, literally. But it's the reason why we're here in Mill Bay. Sean is on Salt Spring. Kate's in Victoria. Finn and Natalie come over from Vancouver. If they all show up at the same time, we got problems. But if they come in shifts, we're good. If they overlap, we're good.
You can do the shifts. How many grandkids now? Please count.
7.
7.
6. Something like that.
Terry, I cannot let you escape without a couple more questions. Of course, here in America, we had a big election recently. So we are about to experience a second Trump term. What's the word in Canada?
Dread. I think the word is dread.
Yeah. I know that your Prime Minister, Prime Minister Trudeau, came and visited, kissed the ring in Mar-a-Lago. So what is the word? What are people saying in Canada about the decision made by the majority of Americans and the popular vote in the November election?
The popular vote was very close, like extremely close. That's beside the point because he was dismissing it. We've seen this show before, and somebody very early on when this story started to break years ago, when we first saw that head of hair show up, someone who knew him well in New York said, "The con is on," and I never forgot that. That phrase, because this guy knew him from day one, and he said, "The con is on, watch this." And so I'm still with that. Listen, if he does anything that welcomes him to the office, it would be great, but my expectations are very low. And I also consider you guys down there who didn't vote for him, who are the other half of the country. I've had several friends get a hold of me and say, what would it be like to move to the Okanagan? And I try to fill them in as best I can. This is a very, very, very fine country. But it has none of the buzz that you guys have there, and that's why we like it.
It's quiet. And it's a simple, lovely life there. Terry, what are the other big stories in Canada? If I was to open up turn on the TV, what's the big story today?
The big story today is that Taylor Swift will be in Vancouver for 3 nights.
Are you going?
Oh no, please no. And Vancouver will literally shut down, and it'll. Because all the traffic is diverted. If you don't have a ticket, you can't go anywhere near it. There's a hockey game going on. There's the conventions going on. It is jammed, and she's going. These are our last 3 shows.
Terry, you have covered every major music act since the Beatles when they first came to Canada. You were there. You got to interview them and every big major music artist.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
I know. Show it off. But it all started with you on a horse.
That's right.
So, questions. Here's a question. As the music authority, as the music man, the face of much music for so many years in Canada, Taylor Swift. Do you get it?
Yeah, I do. Oh, absolutely, totally, completely. Completely. I do a show every Saturday for 2 hours. I don't play Taylor Swift. She's taken care of. She doesn't need any more play from me. I play everybody who isn't Taylor Swift, who I think has the same talents and the same possibilities. That's what I do. You know?
Your music show, if folks want to find you online, I want to make sure we get 2 things out
Mulligan
as we wrap.
Stew. MulliganStew.ca. MulliganStew.ca. Yes, it's on CKUA Radio, which is just it is the best music station in the country, bar none. CKUA, because it came from the University of Alberta 100 years ago.
Yeah.
It's the oldest station in Canada.
Founded when?
100 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
My gosh.
Yeah.
So you're going to make me do the math. That's and then
no,
tasting.
it's actually we're at year 98. We're going to celebrate year 100 in 2 years, and we're going to have a great party. And I mean, the guy in front of me, Holger Peterson, has his own record label, and is in the Blues Hall of Fame. He's been doing his blues show in front of me for 55 years.
Yeah.
Because when you find a place that lets you play anything you want, without question, because you know what you're talking about. I do 2 hours. I take my blues handoff and I run it through rock and roll and rhythm and blues and reggae and whatever, and hand off to another show 2 hours later. You can't, literally, there is no way you can put a value on creative freedom like that.
I'm a big fan. I love Mulligan Stew, but I'm a bigger fan. The show that I love to drink is Tasting Room Radio. Drink it up every week. Where can people find it, Terry? And then you get to ask me any final questions about life here.
All at Mulligan Stew, the podcast, the YouTube channel, and Tasting Room Radio. It's all at mulliganstew.ca. And I'm on Blue Sky now. Okay, Blue Sky.
Blue Sky.
Mulligan. Yep.
Yeah. Okay, you'll find me there too. Okay, Terry, ask me whatever you want. Go.
I want to know: are you seeing any movies?
You know, not as many as I would like.
What do you want to see? You want to see Gladiator?
I just watched The Blitz.
Okay.
The movie The Blitz. I do want to see Gladiator. I am curious to see Wicked, just because, you know, it's a phenomenon. What have they done with it? That's the only recent movie I've seen. I used to go, as you know, in our days, 20 years plus, when we first met, actually 25 years ago. When we first met, I was covering movies. We'd see 4, 6, maybe even more movies a week. And so I don't see enough movies. What about streaming? What are you watching, Terry? Anything?
Oh, man.
Is there anything out of Canada that's really good, that's worth a watch?
You mean besides Mulligan Stew?
Apart from that, anything creative that we can stream, a TV show from your neck of the woods that's worth watching?
George Strombopoulos, who was on, you would have seen him on CNN. Strombo, Strombo, Strombo.
Strombo, okay.
That's his nickname. And George is just a fantastic interviewer. Fantastic.
Okay.
With great connections.
Yeah.
There's that. We just watch a lot of hockey. I've been watching a lot of Canadian documentaries. We're just going into a judging period now, and I just got a sheet of links to go. I was part of the Critics' Choice documentary committee as well, and it was exhausting. It was exhausting. There were hundreds of them, and they were still sending them. Even as we were voting, there were still people who'd forgotten to send.
So, two movies from this past year that every person should see.
Oh, that's hard.
Well, what were your favorites? What did you love?
I loved a movie called Sugar Cane.
Okay.
And because I knew the story.
Yeah.
And it's about sugarcane, the small community beside the Williams Lake Indian band's land.
Yeah.
The residential school was there.
Mm-hmm.
In Kamloops, where my father was the game warden, in both towns. Yeah. My father was game warden. In Kamloops, the same thing, this huge imposing brick structure, would look like a ghost town. It's where the indigenous kids were forced to leave their families and go to these schools. What they're finding now, many, many, many years later, that there are graves. There are graves all around the grounds of these schools, and those kids never got back home. And that's what that story is about. And so it's our story. It's a Canadian story. But here's the thing. As soon as it started to screen in the United States, at Sundance, for example, and down in the States, all of a sudden they realized we have the same problem in America.
Sure.
And all of a sudden it just exploded. Mm-hmm. And it was nominated for 8 Critics' Choice Awards. It won 2.
Okay. So Sugarcane, that's one, and one more.
I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's a blur. It's a blur.
So many films. Well, listen, Terry, I will be raising a glass of this Q&A on Christmas Eve.
Where will you be?
I'll be on a flight. No, on the 23rd, I'll be on a flight. So the 2nd before I leave, but I'll be flying to London, home to see the family, all the way to Winchester, and then New Year in Paris. So I know it's rough. It's rough. I'm roughing it this year. But Terry, always a joy talking to you. We always say we'll do this once a month. So let's have another live check-in at the beginning of January.
No, I'll be better. Give me a chance. I'm a little rusty
Yeah.
because I'm used to talking to myself. That's it.
Your name's Rusty? I thought your name was Terry. Sorry, I missed that. Listen, the son of a game warden, the grandfather to 77 grandkids, the husband of Meg, one of my dearest, most beloved friends, a broadcasting legend, at least in British Columbia, Terry David Mulligan. My friend, I will call you before the holidays, but wishing you love. That's with, I can't see because there's writing. Who's that? Who's in that picture?
Frank Zappa.
Look at you. Oh my God, Terry David. Well, I hate people who do that. They do these live hits from their office, and then they grab photographs of them, singing with people they think are really important.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. And who is that? Who's that? Yeah, there we go.
I see you.
That's and that's my that's your good friend Sting. Thank you for that. Thank you. You're welcome. I can't compete with you, Mulligan. You know that. Listen, my friend, I love you to pieces. You know it. Cheers.
Cheers.
Where's the booze? I told you to bring something in your hand.
Please hold.
Oh my gosh. Friends, Wine Wednesday. We talked a little wine. Let me remind you. Q&A. Terry David Mulligan, Jason Priestley, and Michael Mosney, winemaker. The three of them. Thank you. Q&A. You can find Q&A. All you have to do is go to Cascadia with a K, CascadiaWineMerchants.com. I'll put a link up as well. And
thank you for that. This is Realms of Rye.
Oh, nice.
From a whiskey makers called the Sons of Vancouver. And I
love it.
Oh, wait a minute. No, wait.
So I'm drinking a little 25-year. Did I forget what it was? Macallan. A little Macallan 25-year. I know it's drinking time, but it's okay. Not that Terry cares about this, but anyone who's watching, come by the Ritz-Carlton in San Francisco tonight. I'll be there to countdown the holiday tree with Betty Yu from KTVU. So 5:30 to 7, we'll have calories. Those people who sing calories and carolers and Santa Clauses. Terry, what's your favorite toast? Go.
Favorite toast?
Okay, I'll give you one. I'm not above you. I'm not below you. I'm right here with you. Terry David Mulligan. Cheers.
Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Joy of joy. There he is, friends, the host of Tasting Room Radio, and of course,
thank you all.
His other big show, which is on
Cal Radio.
That's it. All of that. Thanks, Terry. Love you. Hugs to Meg. Bye, mate.
Thank you.
Cheers. Liam Mayclem, KCBS Foodie Chap, signing off. All the links will be up.